President-elect Trump's pick for National Security Advisor, Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, says the president-elect is already working with the Biden administration on national security.
Jake Sullivan and I have had discussions. We've met. For our adversaries out there that think this is a time of opportunity, that they can play one administration off the other, they're wrong. And we are hand in glove. We are one team with the United States in this transition.
How about that? Waltz also says the incoming Trump administration is focused on bringing the war in Ukraine to an end.
Well, the president-elect has been very concerned about the escalation and where it's all going. Our allies have now, extended the range of their missiles as well. So we need to bring this to a responsible end. We need to restore deterrence, restore peace, and get ahead of this escalation ladder rather than responding to it.
Dan Hoffman is a former CIA station chief and a Fox News contributor, and he joins me now. Dan, good morning to you. So what do you think about that? Is it up to the president of the United States to determine an end to a war between Russia and Ukraine? And if so, what does a responsible end to this war look like?
Well, it's just one of many very wickedly complex national security challenges that the Biden administration is leaving behind for the incoming Trump administration. I think the key question is, where do we get leverage over Russia to induce the Russians to stop raining down hell on Ukrainian civilians? Remember, Russia started this war. Their goal was to topple the government in Ukraine and create a puppet regime that would support the Kremlin. And right now, the key question for us is how we stop the Russians. Now, those ATACMS that Ukraine is deploying, the range is 190 miles. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of Wagner Group, got a lot farther than that when he launched his failed coup a couple of summers ago against Vladimir Putin. Ukraine is using those missiles now to target Russian military sites in the Rostov military district and Bryansk. And that might be one way that Ukraine demonstrates that it's not in Russia's interest to stay in the fight. The Russians have suffered hundreds of thousands of casualties. Finland and Sweden are now NATO members. And Europe has been awakened from a post-Cold War slumber, more committed to defense than ever. So there's the potential here for a deal. It's going to be very challenging for the Trump team.
Okay, so NATO and Ukraine are going to meet on Tuesday after Russia attacked Ukraine with this experimental hypersonic ballistic missile. There has been a big escalation in recent weeks when it comes to both sides of this war. So analyze that. What does that mean? Why is that escalation happening now, and where is it all going?
Well, I think we've got to be careful how we frame this. Vladimir Putin wants us to believe that giving Ukraine the right to fire these ATACMS missiles into Russian territory just a couple hundred miles is escalation, when in fact it's Russia that is responsible for this brutal and barbaric war. The two things that the Biden administration always said was that they didn't want a direct conflict with Russia, and they didn't want a nuclear war with Russia. And Putin has used that brinkmanship style to induce the Biden administration never to give Ukraine what they needed and when they needed it. This is ultimately a failure of the Biden administration's senseless as long as it takes strategy, which assumed we had an indefinite amount of time to reach a conclusion to this conflict. So again, I think the key for the United States, for the Trump team, is what kind of leverage can we bring to deter Russia in the future, but also induce them to come to the peace table now. And one way to do it is what National Security Advisor designate Michael Waltz is doing, which is with this bipartisan consensus that we're seeing with the Biden team and showing that there are no holes there, no disagreements between Democrats and Republicans on how to take this thing to its conclusion.
I love that message. When it comes to national security and these major global issues, we are united as a country moving forward. That's great. Let's talk about the Middle East really quickly. So Israel and Hezbollah are reportedly on the verge of a ceasefire deal. One Israel official told Axios, quote, "The direction is positive, but that several issues remain unresolved and it's not a done deal." Your reaction to that?
Yeah, well, again, this is another one of those national security threats that are going to be left to the new administration. Israel wants their southern border to be peaceful and secure. And that means that Hezbollah is going to have to move back behind the Litani River. The question is, who is going to secure the southern Lebanon? The UN has been unable to do it. The Lebanese army, so far, unable as well. But Israel wants to move their citizens back into northern Israel. 60, 70,000 of them had to flee, and that's had a serious impact on them and also on the economy. Yeah. But again, another real challenge for the United States going forward.
Yeah, with Israel fighting a war on multiple fronts, it is certainly going to be a challenge to wrap that one all up as well. Dan, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.